It is a great honor and a privilege to introduce Tomaz Zajc. Here we are in Ljubljana, Slovenia, and it's been incredible how I met the head of the Jewish community in the old city of Ljubljana, and he told me a little bit about your incredible story. And here I am. I'm here just before Shabbat, and I'm in your home, and thank you so much for hosting me. And I really look forward to hearing this incredible and fascinating story. Tomaz, so without any further ado, if you could just mention a little bit about your family, where you were born, and we're just so fascinated to hear, and it's so important to hear your history.
So, I was born May 2nd, 39, before the war. And then the war came, and I was living meet my parents in Ljubljana, in the town in Ljubljana, in the center in Ljubljana, and everything was calm. It was not dangerous till 41 when the war started, the Second World War started. And then first occupation was through Italian, and after German military came. And that then was dangerous for all. My mother was Jewish, and my grandfather was Steinberg, William Steinberg. He was Austrian, and he came here in 38, and he was director and half of owner of the factory. And then with my grandmother, and he was leading here the factory and the normal life till 41. 41 the war started, and it was not easy to live, especially not because they were Jewish. He was from Graz, from Austria, and my grandmother also. Then 43 the Germans came, and then my grandparents, my parents, and my aunt and his husband were brought to the concentration camps.
They arrested?
They were arrested in Ljubljana in one night on September 17, and they came all by train to Germany in different camps. And the camps was Mauthausen, that was one of the easiest camps. The worstest one was Auschwitz. And my mother came to Ravensbrück, my father came to Dachau, and my aunt came also to Ravensbrück. God, thanks God, my grandparents are not coming back, but my aunt with his husband, my parents came back. But the story was others. I was in the flat in Ljubljana on that night, 17th of September, and in the night was a lady with me together in that flat. She was so-called governess of mine.
A non-Jewish lady?
Yes, she was Slovenian, and she was teaching with me and playing with me and so on and so on.
And how old were you at this time?
She was 23.
And how old were you?
I was almost 4 years old. 4 years, yes. And then at 2 o'clock in the night, boom, boom, boom on the door, and something can happen that is not a good thing if of 2 o'clock the door knock somebody. And she was so clever, because we are living in the second floor. She put me quickly, and on the balcony on the opposite side of the house there were balconies, first floor and second floor. very easy to get from the one balcony to other balcony. And the neighbors were okay, were our friends. Also risky for them that somebody will know that I was there. She took me and she brought me there to the balcony and to the first floor, from the second to the first floor, because our flat was in the second. And then my parents brought away, and then in the night we walked to the Tivolski Grad, that is Tivol Castle, where she lived with his parents. And there I was hidden, and there was another risk that somebody of neighbors will tell what is now. She was not pregnant, and now her son is here. What is it? But they were okay, and that is exception. What I don't understand till today, that the commander of the German is located also in that castle. His name was Miller. He knew about me and he cried. He was quiet.
He knew that you were Jewish?
He suspected that I was a Jew, because if my mother was Jewish, I am Jewish, normally. And then he spoke with the mother of Savica. Savica was the name of the governess, my governess. Just be calm, I don't know nothing, he said.
Wow.
That was an exception, seldom from the Germans, because she mentioned, I'm not SS, I am the normal German army. And that was a big difference. The normal German army was not so cruel as the SS. So I was there till 45, and then first my father came back in June, beginning of June from Dachau, but my mother not. What happened? She was so weak in the concentration camp in Ravensbrück that she was kept in American hospital in Ravensbrück for another 2 months till middle of July. And she came back on 22nd of July, and she was only 35 kilo and not very healthy and so on, but she came back. And so everything was okay. Now what happened then?
Robert, can I just ask you, because I'm sure our listeners and everybody would be fascinated to hear, when you were only 3.5, nearly 4, and that night, do you remember that night? Do you remember the knock, or do you remember being hidden by your governess?
Yes, I remember this. I remember her because afterwards she married a Hungarian one, and they left both for the States, and she died. She passed away there 3-4 years ago.
But do you remember that night? Do you remember her taking you and putting you on the balcony?
I remember slightly, so half. I remember this night that we walked the long way from our flat to Krivolski Grad.
Did you know what was going on? I mean, a little boy at that age.
Yes, I remember that knocking on the door. This knocking on 2 o'clock, because I was asleep. Ne?
Wow.
And
you didn't cry when she took you away from your parents, or that she
No, because my mother said something to her that I am just going to be there for a night or 2 nights, and so on and so on. And anyway, that's what Savica has done for me. She was a big risk for her, because in case she will be discovered,
they would kill her.
They will kill her at once.
Is she known as one of the righteous Gentiles in Yad Vashem?
She was, yes, she was. This year, 3 months ago, she got this diploma and
recognition.
That she got that her son, Ferry, in the States, in Chicago, Israeli embassy, she got this official paper that she was the...
And that was for saving you?
Yes. And her parents, they got also now. Yes.
And Robert, can I just ask also, when the Italians, when they kind of invaded Slovenia, when they were occupying Slovenia, the Italians were not bad to the Jews.
No, the Italians were half so bad as Germans. The Italians haven't touched them, no, because they were about 120 Jews in Ljubljana at that time, but all were well.
They were okay financially.
Yes, they have factories, jobs, and so on. Italians doesn't know doesn't wish to know anything about Jews.
It's only when the German invasion occurred.
But when Germans, there were others.
Now, when you first saw your father when he came back, do you remember? It must have been
not quite. It was.
But it must have been very emotional.
Yes, it was. But it was much more emotional when my mother came.
And you remember seeing your mother?
Yes, I remember very well. Because we lived downstairs, and in the left corner of Tivolski Grad. That is castle till today. Today is a gallery there. In the kitchen was in the corner of the house, and I was looking out of the kitchen, and it's a road directly to the town from the side. And I saw a lady which is coming slowly, bad dress and so on, and I don't know what she wished. And I go out, and then I go a little near, and then she cried, Maji, Maji. That was my boy, not Tomaz, but Maji, my name she gave me my mother. And then I recognized her, and we embraced, and so on, and that is... I still remember this.
And in all those years that you were in that castle, did you know that your mother, you didn't know if she was alive or if she was...
We did nothing. About the father, nothing. About the mother, nothing. No news. Nothing. We don't know if they will come back or not.
It must have been so difficult for you at such a young age to...
Yeah, I was there, chicken pastor. I have chickens there, and I collect the eggs and bring it to the neighbors and so on. It was a funny story. It exists a book about me there. It was there a man, a very nice man, writer who wrote me about this chicken pastor.
And were there other children that you could play with, or...
No, there were no other children there. I was the only one. In the castle there were only old people.
So, and you were there for about 2 years?
2 years, yes.
So wasn't it difficult as a little boy not having friends or family?
Actually, I was mostly of the time in the castle, in the room, not outside. But you see, it's difficult to stay always inside. I was also out. Because you never know what can happen, because the parents of Savica, they were scared what will happen, and so on, but nothing happened, everything was okay. And that was lucky. In case I will be kept from Germans, I will be dead, or I will be German boy somewhere in Germany today, not known about me, because about 1,200 kids from Slovenia were brought during the war to Germany, and they are actually today, if they're still alive, they are Germans.
They were integrated into. They were like adopted, or they were fostered.
No, they were adopted by Germans, by German couples which cannot have children, and they were actually educated and so on as Germans.
And were these Jewish children or Gentile children?
No, not only Jewish, also others.
Others.
Mostly Jewish, but also other children, yes.
And they were never reunited with their parents?
No, never.
Wow, it's like a kindertransport, but...
Kindertransport, they were kindertransport, not only one, more than one kindertransport, but... Wow. Yes. To Germany. And then I don't understand, when I was after the war, I was traveling into Germany, first to Munich, to Germany, and to Dachau. And there was another friendly guest, a lady. She was working there for the concentration camp museum. She was very kind, very nice, and she gave me everything. She showed me the barrack where my father was inside, and I got all the documents I wish and I need. That was Dachau, and thanks to the lady. She passed away. She was then 50 years old. She can be not anymore alive. But then I was in Ravensbrück.
How long ago?
My mother was in Ravensbrück, yes. In the big hall we are making, I think that was for the airplanes something. And then I was looking for the place where the concentration camp was. I couldn't find it. And then I went to the police and asked, please can me show where the place is. I don't know if they are playing, if they didn't know, if they were too stupid. No. I couldn't get a single, nothing from this place. It's concentration camp, which was a big one. Probably they were playing that they was not.
Yeah.
So they were not angry with me or unpolite, but sure, better not to know it not exists. In the front Dachau, everything.
And how old were you when you went to Dachau, to get the documents and to visit?
I was in Dachau in 61. Then I was, 18 years old. I was 80 years old. I was playing, and that time we played table tennis, and I was in the team, and I was in the national team, and we went to play in Germany table tennis, and then I jumped to Dachau from Munich. It's only half an hour by train to Dachau.
Was it very emotional going there, thinking that your family were once there? Was it difficult to go to visit?
No, Dachau is officially open. It's a museum today, but Ravensbrück officially not exist.
But when you went to Dachau,
yeah,
was it very emotional? Was it very...
Yes or no, because that was actually so... It was stupid to say, but it was a friendly jest of that lady. She showed me everything.
She was a German lady?
A German lady.
And not Jewish German lady?
No. German lady.
But she was very helpful.
Employee of the camp.
Oh, of the camp. Okay.
But she was very okay. Not all Germans were so.
Oh, no. And your parents, when they, thank God, were reunited and you lived as a family, did they ever discuss what happened?
Never one word. Not father, no mother. They don't wish to talk about it. Not off limits, nothing.
You never heard a word from them?
Nothing, a word.
Did you ask them and they just refused?
If I ask, I remember some little, if a film was on TV about such material, my mother went out. Wow. She couldn't saw it. But she was not very well after the hospital, American hospital in Ravensbrück, 2 months. She recovered, but she has also pains in the stomach and so on, and she passed away then after some years because she was not very good. She was also always cold. Cold. So even if it's 35 outside, she was not warm. Yeah.
And Thomas, did you have any brothers, any siblings or sisters?
No, I'm the only child. I'm the only child, yes. Wow. I'm the only child, and I'm 78 years now. I visited Zajc 3 times in the States, I was last year there, not last year, sorry, for the Olympic in Atlanta. I was there and I visited her. She was living near to Chicago, and I was 3 times there, and that was also emotional.
That must have been, you know, if you look back, what she did, she actually endangered her own life. If she would have been caught, they would have killed her. There's no question.
No question.
And the people, the neighbors also, they would have killed the neighbors as well.
Interesting were the older people, the neighbors. There were 2 ladies. I brought eggs to them, and there were some others, not many, because they were perhaps all in the castle, 6, 7 others, neighbors, but nobody said a word. I was wondering some afterwards about this, how that nobody said, and the chief of the military was in the 2nd floor.
It's, you know, Thomas, this is absolutely amazing. This is a phenomenal. It's an ace. It's a miracle.
Yeah.
It really is a miracle. What happened and how you survived, and
it's a miracle because this man, official chief of the German military in Ljubljana, was quiet. She knew it, he knew it, but she was quiet.
he was quiet.
So also parents of Savica, they were in danger. And
They were in danger, sure.
But nothing happened.
But wow, that is, and it is unbelievable. Now, when your parents, when they reunited, did you go back to your original home that you lived in, or was it?
That's another story. That's political. In 45, when we were all together, my aunt and my uncle, my mother has 1 sister, and she married a Slovenian one, and my father was also Slovenian, not Jewish.
Mm-hmm.
But in spite of that, they were together with with wives to the camps. In 45, we got a room, 1 room in the flat of my aunt, and we were there for 3 years, until 48, yes. In 48, a very important man, political Cardell, came here, and he wished to be near to the office, to the building where he was working, and our house was very near, and so we were moved to another place, which was actually 150 years old house, near to the station, and so on, and we got there 1 room, and my uncle and aunt also 1 room, and so we stayed there till with 53. Then my father and mother, actually we moved in the 53 to our flat, a new one, and then we lived then till 71, when we got our first son was born, Peter, 72, and then with him we came to the flat here today. They are my 2 sons here, Peter and Gregor. Mm-hmm. And Gregor was younger, and Peter was 45, Gregor is 41, and so we lived here today. And both sons are abroad. Peter is in Luxembourg, in a high position in the bank, International Investment Bank, and for more than 10 years now, and Gregor is very far away in Philippines.
Philip, what is he doing in the Philippines?
He is representative of a Dutch-Swiss tourist agency there, and he enjoyed there, I hope so. He is traveling a lot, and as I am, and when I was young, I was traveling also very much.
And are your sons married?
No, my Peter has 2 sons, here a daughter, a boy, and my Gregor said, I have no time.
Well, so you mentioned about tourism. Now, that was your profession? You studied tourism?
Yes, I study economy and afterwards philosophy, and then I finished professor of geography and tourism
At the university in
in
Ljubljana.
Ljubljana, and then I was employed as first as a staff, and then I was manager of the tourist agency, and in the end, before I was going to the pension, I was state secretary of tourism of Slovenia for 4 years.
Was this when it was still under Yugoslavia, or was independent Slovenia?
Sorry?
Was it under Yugoslavia? Or
No, that was already Slovenia.
it was already independent Slovenia?
Yes, already independent in Slovenia. In Yugoslavia, I was, let me say, in some 2-3 different places, but in Slovenia, I was this. And so I am now retired, I am doing stamps.
Wonderful, and that's our connection. Robert, can I ask you? It was through Robert, actually. He's the head of the Jewish community in Ljubljana, and he was the one that told me your fascinating story, and I really am very grateful because I have the tremendous honor to have met you and to hear this unbelievable, it's just an incredible life story. Thomas, if I can just ask you, when you grew up and you went to school and then later on to university, did you ever encounter any anti-Semitism? Did people know your story?
No. Nobody talk. My parents hasn't talked, and nobody talk about it. Not.
Did you tell any of your friends your story?
No. I was quiet. I don't never say a word.
And did you have Jewish friends, or after the war, or did you mix with any in the Jewish community at all?
Not. Fortunately, there were in Ljubljana a few Jews only, and I was not there because actually I didn't know that I was half of Jew, to say, because my mother Jewish, I am Jewish. I didn't know this officially. Ne? So because my mother married my father, who was Slovenian, and the marriage was Roman Catholic. He changed the religion then.
And your father he wasn't Jewish, but he was still taken away to a concentration camp.
My father and uncle, they were both Slovenian, real Slovenian, and they were brought away.
So why is that? Why were they taken as well?
For Germans was enough one, and both went.
So if you were married to a Jew, then it was like you were guilty and you...
Yes, correct.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable, I don't understand this, but I know some others which were the same. So only half of them.
Wow.
Yes.
And and here's where I was very happy to hear that you've actually visited Israel.
Yes, I was there 3 times. I met my wife in Israel.
You met your wife in Israel?
She was a stewardess flying to Israel, and I talked with her, and then I married her.
And she's Slovenian?
She's Slovenian. So she's Slovenian,
Wow.
and actually she was flying for Slovenian aircraft, Adria Airways. That was in 62. 62, yes. And then I was there, first time I was there in 62, and then I was a journalist, and I was writing as a student for the student newspaper, a sport page. And the basketball team of Ljubljana played in Israel, and I went with them, and then...
I think they played Maccabi Tel Aviv.
Yes, Maccabi Tel Aviv, correct. And then I had an address for, let me say, not a real aunt. So my mother called her aunt because they were very close to Haifa. I went there, and she was there with her husband, and I was there. They have a movie there. A kino, and I was there 2-3 days, and then I back to Tel Aviv where the basketball was playing. And the other good friend of my mother, she was living, Grete Polak. she was living in London with her husband, and I was there once also in 54, a year after the Queen was coronated. I was there, PPP, that was the code how to find her, PPP, Porches Road, Peters Court, Paddington Station.
Wow. And Thomas, okay, this is, I'm sure our sports enthusiasts would love to know. Do you remember who won the game, that basketball game?
No, I don't remember.
And who did you support? Because there you had...
Yes, I wrote an article in the plane because it was a hurry to come to the newspapers here, and I don't remember very much what was.
But it was a good game. It was
in December.
Wow.
Where the oranges from Jaffa were.
That's
and
right.
I brought the oranges there back here.
And how was your impression when you came to Israel? Did you feel a connection?
My impression was that the people were so quiet, not with a strong voice or with some hard words. So quiet were the people, so easygoing and so on. A nice impression.
And you had a nice feeling about the country.
The feeling was good. My feeling was good. Yeah, I remember, because everyone was so open and not a problem to come with the contact with them and so on. Everything was quite okay. No problem.
Wow. And the other times you went to Israel?
Then I came twice again. 3 times I was there. First, yes. Second time I was there. Just a second, I have to remember. Second time, yes. It was the second time. It was we were in with my wife in the travel agency and as a tourist I was there, and the third, last time I was there with Mr. Stuckel, very important man,
Yeah.
the oldest Olympian golden medal winner.
Wow.
I was a tour leader for him 8 months. 8 years we were together. I was a guardian angel for him, and I'm still very proud of that, because he was very suspicious man because of the Second World War, where he has troubles.
Was he Jewish?
No, he was not Jewish. He was from Maribor. He was not Jewish, but he was actually against everything what it happened with war, and he was not allowed. So I was there in Israel with him for the International Olympic Week in '97. It was also stamps exhibition this year and so on. And there were some other famous sportmen there. And Mr. Bergman for Switzerland was doing everything that. You know him.
I know him. He's from Geneva, but originally Israeli.
Yes.
Wow, that is amazing. And what made your interest in collecting sports on stamps?
Yeah,
because you were once
my hobby, and I collect this now, I can say 70 years, 70 years. So, and I have one of the biggest stamp collection, Olympic and sports collection of stamps in Europe. I think I'm before the leaders, and in the world I don't know.
And have you exhibited?
Yeah, I have sometimes, but now I am out. I am not anymore exhibited. I have some diplomas from some place and so on. No, it was enough. Wow. The pity is that my sons are not interested to keep them any longer, and I don't know what I will do when I pass away.
No, please God, at Mayvestream till 120, so you got many years to enjoy your stamps. Many years to get pleasure from them and to enjoy them, and maybe to exhibit again. Perhaps
I will do. Perhaps. Is there too many stamps coming out, sport and Olympic stamp coming now, and it's difficult to follow everything because I'm collecting the whole world. I have too many of them.
And Robert, can I ask, because, not Robert, Thomas, I must just mention, the word Robert, we really are grateful because his story is a little bit similar to yours as well. He didn't know that his grandmother was Jewish on both sides. So have you got a very close friendship with Robert?
I am friend with Robert, correct. He's a very good man. He has only one mistake. So-called mistakes, he has no time, never time. He has too much to do.
But he is an incredible person as well.
Yes,
I've met the most amazing people. And Thomas, can I ask, what would your message really be? What you've gone through and how you survived. Did this make you, okay, this might be a difficult question, but do you have faith that in like God that you were, I mean, it's a miracle what happened. Did this strengthen your faith in a God above, or how do you feel about religion or God in general or Judaism? I know it's difficult, but...
It's difficult. I mean, I am not occupied myself with the story. Actually, that I am officially Roman Catholic, yes. I was baptized and so on, but I am not going to the church, and I have a good relationship with the most important man who passed away. He was the Archbishop here. Wow. We were friends because of the stamps, and now I am also a very good friend of the other bishop. He is in Ljubljana, he's retired now, so we are friends, so I have good connections with religion, but I am not going to the church.
But, halakhically, that's, you actually, because your mother was Jewish, you're actually Jewish.
Yes, correct, that's correct. That's, Mr. Bergman explained everything in details to me, that if the mother is, you are, if he said.
And you are connected with the Jewish Center?
Yes, I have connections, yes.
That's wonderful. It's really wonderful.
But that is a small one, but it's okay. But without Robert, will be nothing there.
Wow. Well, please God, we'll have a connection. I'm in Jerusalem, and I want to be, if anything you need from Israel, you'll let me know. And I'm sure our listeners here are just so grateful that you've told us your life story. It's something out of this world, really. There are no words to describe what an amazing story this is. How you were saved, how people put their lives at risk.
How the other people have a big risk because of me.
It is, it's not theoretical, it's real. People were actually, if they were found saving a Jew, they were actually killed, and their family were also killed.
Sure, because the Germans were very cruel, very cruel. No exceptions. Everybody shoot again, shoot at once. So, but anyway, it was a big luck. It was half a miracle, and I'm here. I hope I will stay some years.
And you will, and we'll be in connection with each other, and we'll have I really want to help you in any way I can, and anything you need from Israel, you'll let me know. And just to mention, your Jewish connection is a very special connection. Going to Israel and meeting your wife on the plane is another semi-miracle. It really is. It's not, we call it Bashir. It was meant to be. It was meant to be that you had this wonderful governess. Your whole story is something absolutely incredible and remarkable.
Yeah, she was really a unique one, my governess. I called her always my second mother.
Wow. Have you ever been to Yad Vashem?
Sorry?
Have you been in Jerusalem to Yad Vashem?
Not
to
yet,
the memorial?
But I am trying to go there when I will be allowed to fly.
Okay, so I live in Beit Vegan, which is very close to Yad Vashem. So it would be an honor and a privilege if you came to visit us in Beit Vegan in Jerusalem. And if there's anything that I can help with your preparations to go, I think it would be wonderful if you could.
Let's hope so. Thank you.
Shalom. And I just want to wish it, tonight is Shabbat. So, and it's going to be Rosh Hashanah very shortly. So, a Shana Tova, a Happy New Year, healthy.
Everything.
And all of Hashem's blessings, all of God's blessings for a healthy, happy, peaceful, and Mazel Dika, and a wonderful New Year.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you. That was a long story.
how would you pronounce the name of the book?
Slovenian pravični menarni, the Slovenian good people which help between nation.
Wow, and your story is in the book?
Yes, in the book, and the picture of Zajc is there.
Wow, if we could see it, that would be amazing. Is there a picture of you as well?
No. She is here.
This is the lady that saved your life. What a special woman.
She finished gymnasium and she was starting to study medicine, but the war came and it was not possible.
That is, and it tells, and you mentioned in the story.
That is actually my story.
Your story is in this book.
That is all my story till the. So, that is my story in details.
And who wrote the book?
That is the lady I mentioned, Irena Šumi.
Oh, Shumi, okay. She's the
Definitely
professor.
you have to meet her. You have to tell Robert. He has to contact you with Irena Šumi.
Okay.
He's a very important woman.
Wow, and she wrote the...
She wrote us, yes.
Wonderful.
And how she came to the Savica? Now it was very, very so-called unusually for me that once a telephone rings and here is Irena Šumi. Are you Tomaz Zajc? Yes. You have connections with somebody in the States because she left in the 53 to the States. Yes. And may I ask you how was very carefully she was discovering if I am the right one. Yeah. May I ask you how is the name of this person? Then I was suspicious. What was now? Something wrong. Then yes, I say, and who are you? Sorry. And then she asked me if I have a connection in the States. I say, yes, I have. Where? And I was suspicious. What this lady wished from me? Then finally, after a few minutes, it was everything clear. Not bats, not monkey stories. Everything okay. And then she came to me with the cassette. On this cassette, it was actually, a story, the story what Savica once in the women's club in Chicago. Sorry.